Namaste, everybody. This is my hue drum. It's my little hand tongue drum. If nobody has ever seen one like this before, you can find them all over the internet, but it's kind of like a steel drum, but a little mini one, but it's called a tongue drum because it has these little grooves in it that actually allow air to pass through it that give it different tones. And it's called a tongue drum or a hue drum, and it's one of my tools in my toolkit that help me relax when I'm having a bad moment or I just need a little music in my life and I don't want to turn on the radio or I just want to set the tone for the moment or whatever. Sometimes I'll take this and I will just set it down and just cuz. So that just brings me to my topic of rocking your own rhythm, man, rocking your own rhythm. So most of us are in this world always trying to please other people and be like other people. And we try to emulate other people, and emulation is the highest form of flattery. So I guess everybody wants somebody to copy, and nobody, well, not nobody, but there are very few people in this world that are just happy being themselves, not worrying about whether they're like anybody else or if anybody's looking or if, um, it just doesn't matter. They're living their own rhythm. They're in their own groove. They're happy being themselves and they're rocking their own rhythm. And that's the theme for today for me is rocking my own rhythm and talking to you guys about how to do that yourself. Because at the end of the day, at the end of all of this, whether you want to look at it as a lifetime or a week, being ourselves is what's really important. Being who we are, who we're meant to be, and not being ashamed of that is super important. And in our society, we have all these different things, right? We have cancel culture, we have political correctness, we have mainstream influences. We also have alternative influences, which oddly are also mainstream, even though it's alternative and people think alternative means, odd. It's not, it's just different, right? But it also can be mainstream because alternative music as it started out was because it was different from the mainstream at the time. So everything is like literally like a snippet of time, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And that's kind of where I'm at with my life and the way things are for me. And I could really just care less. I dress the way I want to. Some days I'm not wearing makeup. Some days I am. I don't feel the need to please anybody. I'm not here for that. I'm here for figuring out who I am and my soul purpose and why my energy has asked. Because we did ask, we forget that we've asked because we forget that energetic part of our existence, right? So I've asked to be here at this time frame. If you want to look at time as a snippet or a little fragment of eternity, right? Because that's what time really is. It's a cognitive fragment of eternity. And I asked to be here for a reason. I asked to be in the world in between 1974 and wherever the hell I die. or whenever the heck this body has an expiration date. I haven't found the sticker yet of where my expiration date is. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. But we all have an expiration date to this milk carton that we're riding. And the milk does go sour, It does. It's got, it ends. And it and what's inside is what matters. And if we figure out what it is that we came here to do, I feel like when we get into the rhythm of our own existence and we try to figure out what it is we're here to do in a wholeness of our own energy, I think we find much more satisfaction in life. We don't worry about whether we're carrying a Louis Vuitton or we're driving a Mercedes, or if we're vacationing in some awesome place. Because let's be honest, there are people that have those things and they're freaking miserable as all get out. Because why? They haven't figured out what makes them happy. And material things, don't make me happy. To be honest with you, if there was a fire in this house, what would I save? I would save my children, and I might come back for my rocks. Other than that, I probably don't give a crap about anything. Like literally, my computer can be replaced, my chair, my pictures, whatever. I might come back for my rocks only because I love my rocks. I might come back for my plants. Definitely my children. But everything else can just, I don't care. So our affirmation today is, I am love, I am compassion. That's right. Because love and compassion really is all that matters. And being a compassionate person and showing love can be difficult, right? Like for me, one of the challenging things right now is something I'm personally going through in my own life, with some of the changes that are happening with surrounding my dad's illness and my dad's declining health, and just the fact that some members of our family don't want to accept the responsibility anymore, even though where they're at is probably the best place for our dad, but they don't want to do it. So they're at their full point, and now it's being passed on to us, and so we have to show love and compassion, and regardless of how difficult those changes might be for those of us accepting the responsibility of taking on my dad, and the drastic changes we are going to have to make to accommodate that, we're going to do that. Why? Because we love, and we're going to show compassion, not only for the individual that says, I'm done, but for the individual that can't say that they're done and is struggling health-wise and declining, right? So sometimes we don't have a choice in what's happening. Most times we don't have a choice in what's happening. But what we do have a choice about is our attitude about how to handle it. And some people lack the tools, the fortitude to handle a struggle. And some people can and will pivot and will figure it out. And that right there is called resilience. So some people are much more resilient than others. They've found their rhythm. They've figured out a way how to roll with the rhythm as it changes in life, because sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's even faster, and sometimes it's slow. And some people can only move to that slow rhythm, and anything faster, and they freak out, right? And they can't handle it. And then there's some people that are able to just really ride that rhythm of life and have found the flow of, okay, well, now's one of those times where it's like quiet. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to be in that rhythm of slow and steady, right? And then it starts to pick up and they're able to flow. So resilience is a lot like rhythm. It's going with the flow of what's happening around you and adapting to what's happening. Some of us in the world are individuals that lack the ability to adapt to the changes in rhythm. And it's because we've not been able to cope, or rather tap into that own personal rhythm that we have and our own challenges, our own strengths. So it's also important to have love and compassion for oneself, right? It is okay to say, I'm done and I can't take this anymore. Most times in my life, when I've said that, there was no magic wand that came by and removed it from me and took away all my troubles. It just hasn't happened that way. I've just always been one of those fortunate people that have had problems in my life and somehow had to find a way to work it out, right? I've had to figure out the groove. I've had to jump into a different rhythm and find a solution. And in a way, I'll be honest, I used to think that was a curse. Like, why me? Like, why am I always the person that has to figure it out? And in recent years, I've realized that that's not a curse at all. It's my gift. I have the ability to pivot. I have the ability to go, okay, this is happening. What can I do about it? And then I look at what I can do, and I don't worry about the things I can't do. And then I do what I can, and I don't worry about the things that I can't. Because most times in life, there are things that we cannot do. So you got to figure out what you can do. So, and being angry at those people, well, it doesn't help. And it's okay to feel angry. Don't get me wrong. Don't repress that feeling of frustration and anger towards somebody because of the way they're being or they're adding stress or stimulus to your life. Because let's be honest, people do add stress and negative stimulus to our life. And it's okay. In our world, we feel like, I feel like people tell you, well, you can't be mad. No, you can be mad. It's okay to feel mad. There are things that make you feel mad. There are maddening things in this world. It's okay to express your displeasure with somebody as long as you're not hitting them and you're not beating up on them, but it's okay to be mad. It's okay to voice your anger in some ways. Because if you don't, you internalize it, and yes, it turns into cancer. It is toxicity that then actually negatively affects your cells in your body because it is energy that is repressed energy. And if we are not anything but energy, I don't know what we are. Because this right here is just packaging for the energy that is being carried inside. And how we manage that energy is how we manage the rhythm of our life, right? So, rock your rhythm. It's okay to say, I'm mad. It's okay to say, that's not fair. It's okay to say, I don't like that. It's okay to say, I don't want to be around it. It's okay to say, I don't want to deal with this negative stimulus anymore. What's not okay is to keep it all hurtled inside like you're some kind of turtle in a shell, and then you build up a hardness around you, and you end up just being a hater, right? And then one day you explode. Or you don't explode, you implode. And how's that good for your soul? So I'm not always as on the fandom page of life with people because I say it like it is, and it doesn't always go over well. And sometimes I have to get my aromatherapy out and take a deep breath and blow it out, right? So, one of my ex-husbands was super negative person. And he would always, and I am not trying to say this in an absolute, but it was always. So he was an alcoholic and he was an addict. He is an addict. And he had a lot of repressed issues and from his childhood. And he didn't express his issues very well with the people that he needed to, and he certainly did not handle them within his own self, right? And so when we engaged in a relationship together, for a while, he was able to hide that. And then slowly over time, and it was mostly after we were married, there was this sense of bringing out those things. And it started out with he would be mad at other people, but then, but never mad at me. And then later on in our marriage, he would start to take things out on me. And one of the things that I failed to recognize was that trait in that person. And I was not in the rhythm of my own self to see the red flags in this individual. Now, he's not a bad person. I wish him well. I hope he's doing well. I hope he figures out his life. But his negativity, his toxic impact was something I absorbed because I didn't care about myself enough. I cared more about him than I did about myself. So I made excuses. I put on those rose-colored glasses. And someone says, when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the flags are red. So you can't tell the difference, right? Exactly. So it's super important, you guys, for us to figure out our own rhythm. Go internally, love yourself, figure out who you are. And it's okay to say, I don't like that. And what I realized about that situation with my ex-husband, it actually was a reflection of a situation with myself, right? My own repressed anger, my own repressed feelings towards my dysfunction in my family and my parents and that dynamic, and my unwillingness to look at my own self and my own family. So here we are in this world always trying to point fingers at other people, and we fail to see that there are, when we're pointing a finger at somebody else, there are four. I'm going to put this one down. Let's see. There are four pointing back at us, right? So love yourself is what's so important. And that's not just a phrase, it's a real thing. Loving yourself is so important. When you figure out that you love yourself and what you want for yourself and what you will accept and what you won't accept, then you start to bring people around you that are like-minded and similar and are not going to take abuse and not going to be abusive towards you, right? Because they're not abusive to themselves. If someone is not abusive to their self, they're not going to be abusive towards you because they value themselves and they see the value in you. They're in their own groove. They're in their own rhythm. They like this right here. So they're not going to defame this right here. And therefore, they see that value. And when you value yourself, you value another individual. And that's the truth. So I'm going to pull out, I feel really drawn towards the Sacred Destiny Oracle today. I keep looking at it. And let me see if I can find some other ones here. I'll be right back. All right. So the ones I feel really drawn to are the Native American Oracle cards. And I showed you the Sacred Destiny. And then we're going to also look at some Oracle cards from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. So those are the three I'm going to look at today. And see what messages are in there for us from the universe. Just because I love it so much. I love that. It sets me right. I just love it. I'm just going to put it right there for now. Actually, I'll put it right there. Here we go. So, let's see what the Sacred Destiny Oracle has to say. These are so pretty. I love the ocean. I'm going to live near the ocean someday. I think even though I'm an earth sign, let's see, no, I'm a Virgo sun, a Leo moon, and an Aquarius rising. Figure out that. And that makes a lot of sense for who I am. But I love the water. Let's see what it says. It says, oh, abundance. Look at that. So you guys, abundance is more than just money. People think abundance is money. And let's see if the universe wants us to, obviously. Purity. Look at that. Look at that dog's eyes, or that wolf's eyes. One's blue, one's green. I love blue and green eyes. Now, I have brown eyes, and it seems like we always like something that's opposite than us, right? And that's true. We're attracted to our opposite in some ways. It's kind of that polar attraction, right? In fact, both my ex-husbands had blue eyes. and I love blue and green eyes. I think they're just absolutely beautiful. So, but you know what? I also love my brown eyes. They're beautiful. I didn't used to like them, but I do now because I've learned to like myself and the rhythm of my own body, the things that are abundant and pure to me, right? So it says abundance, wildflower wonderland. Wildflowers are not intentionally planted. They are untamed, natural, and free. Their fragrance calls bees to pollinate them so that seeds are created to continue the cycle of life. These kinds of natural flowers don't try to be profuse and beautiful, they just are, without struggle or worry. They are abundant without effort. Prosperity is your birthright. And the grand profusion of a field of untamed flowers reminds you that a windfall is coming. It's simply a matter of aligning your vibration and frequency with that which you desire to manifest. So maybe some of you out there need to hear that. So be in the rhythm of you, rock your rhythm, right? Be you. Find out what energy you came here for. And that will bring you the prosperity that you're looking for without even really trying too hard, right? I mean, work is hard, right? And hard work is good. And there's nothing wrong with hard work. And it's a good thing. It's one of my favorite parts in the movie, Bruce Almighty, right? God is sweeping, mopping a floor. Morgan Freeman is God, and he is in this vast building, and he's got a mop and a mop bucket, and he is mopping the floor, right? Like a janitor. That's what he looks like. He looks like a janitor, and he is just mopping the floor, happy to be working and doing his work and being just that which he is in that moment. And he's abundantly happy. And oddly, Bruce, he wants more out of life, and there's nothing wrong with wanting more, right? And especially if it's an internal more that's driving you to be your higher self. So it's an internal drive. Maybe that sense of feeling of wanting more is because you aren't being your true self, right? And you aren't being that wildflower as the wildflower should be. You're trying to be the honeybee, or maybe you're trying to be the weed in the garden. Something to think about. Just be yourself. Find the rhythm that is you. Be untamed. Don't worry about what anybody else says. It's okay. Purity. See what that one says. Okay. I'm going to hold that up. Before the first snow, the earth is dark and cold. Fallen trees from autumn storms lay haphazardly atop the decaying leaves that cover the forest floor, pardon me. However, when the first snows arrive, the darkness and decomposing soil are replaced by a purity that is light and bright. In the sunshine, and the individual snowflakes atop the snowdrifts sparkle with crystalline light. Harsh sounds are muffled, sharp corners and rugged edges are muted. Everything feels fresh and new. Debris seemingly disappears beneath the pristine white landscape. Softly falling snow illuminates the environment in a diffusion of swirling forms. At night, in the light of the full moon, the first snow is glowing and serenely silent, turning everything into an enchanted fairy tale realm. In some mystical traditions, descending snow symbolizes the transmission of knowledge from a higher plane. the heavens, to the lower planes, the earth, thus bringing purity to the earth. So I kind of actually like both these cards together, right? Abundance and purity, kind of like the seasons of life, right? Sometimes we're in a growth season, and sometimes we're in a restful state and a rejuvenation season. Pretty awesome. I really like that. I'm actually going to set those out right now. The second one here, let's see, Native American Oracle cards. Let's see what that's this deck right here. And I'll put them in the description line, you guys. Oh, these are brand new. I haven't even opened these. Great. We're going to unbox them ourselves for the first time. I've never actually opened these cards. So you get to unveil them with me. Look at me. Got to be resourceful. Show your teeth. Gaga was onto something. Show me your teeth. All right. Let's see what it says here. These are so pretty. I love Native American artwork. We got the bear and the raven. And it's got a feather. Feathers are very auspicious. Love feathers. So let's see what the bear and the raven have to say. Or crow is what it's called. Okay. It says the bear for introspection. So something we got to think about. It says bear means many things, including strength, confidence, and protection. Because bear hibernates, she also brings us a strong message of isolation, quiet solitude, and deep internal reflection in order to feel safe and secure enough for such inner work. Bear reminds us to strengthen ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and to create a safe sanctuary in order to withdraw and explore spiritual truth. Bear is also a mighty nurturer and encourages us to nurture ourselves so that we are fit to nurture others. The mirrors highlight the idea of inner reflection. So a lot like, well, actually, I'm going to read on a little bit more and I'll show you what I mean. But it's a lot like the purity, right? It's like the snow, the season of winter, and taking the time to maybe let certain things decay and transform. Whenever the way ahead is unclear, withdraw, attend to your spirit, and allow the way to unfold. That is so true. People think withdrawing is not a good thing, but a retreat is a good thing because it allows you to step back and to look at it from a different picture, right? When you're not in something. So when you have a thumb in your face, it's hard to see the whole hand. All you see is the thumb in your face, right? So if you're seeing that, all you're seeing is that. But if you take a step back, you can see there's more to the picture. It's not just that or that. Excuse me. Whew, that's me speaking my truth. There's that throat chakra again. The other day, I actually held it back, and I shouldn't have. Excuse me. So keywords are introspection, instinct, dreams, reflection, inner knowing, strength, nurturing, and protection. Ooh, I must be speaking some kind of truth there, because 3 sneezes, that's auspicious, right? And the time for the bear, the month of harvest, September. I love September. September is a good month for me. It's my birthday month. Yeah. I love bear. All right, and then crow. So crow is a rich, powerful symbol, being very closely associated with the shamans who are not afraid to travel through the invisible world. Like shamans, crows can be tricksters, which is a type of teacher. Crow foretells experiences that may be unexpected but full of wisdom. Crow is also very smart and uses his wisdom to create and organize culture, exhibiting the right use of power, and thereby creates more power. The Shipipo stick, so that's the staff right here. It's called the Shipipo, is made with various woods, with various associations, and often painted green and light blue and adorned with feathers. It was used by various tribes to seek grace from the gods or to guarantee fertility. The message here is all of life is a lesson. Learn the lessons, be smart, and practice the right use of power. And don't take yourself so seriously. Power, organization, authority, gifts offered and received, respect, and mischievousness. And at the time is October, the month of falling leaves. That is true, you guys. For the longest time in my culture, I was raised to be serious. Take life serious. You can't just be goofing off. You got to take life serious. Well, you should take some things in life serious, right? Well, you shouldn't take life too seriously that you can't find the happiness and the funny moments and the teaching moments in life. And when you take life too seriously, that's when you get super frustrated and you throw your hands up in the air and you say you just don't care, and then you just tell people to F off. And that's not necessarily a really good thing, because you're being too serious. And that's one of the things that I've had to try to do in my life, is try not to be too serious and try to have fun with life. So the last one I'm going to do, and then we're going to call it a day, is the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron-Reid. And I love her, as her human spirit did some amazing things. She's put some amazing oracle cards out that I just value so much, the teachings that she's had in her oracle cards and her oracle decks. And these are, like, I'll be honest with you guys, these tools, these oracle decks, there's one that came out. They're helpful. Everybody has value to add in this world. And that's the problem, right, with this world. People think that you have to be popular. Popular people well known. Our president is a prime example of that. He wants to be popular. He wants to be the it guy, right? He wants everybody to care about him and think he's awesome. But he himself lacks the belief that he is awesome. And so instead he comes across as this very kind of a whiny baby because he's not confident in the good things that are him. And everybody has good things, even people that are not doing good things. So, but that doesn't mean that we have to put up with their negative stimulus. It's super important to, say, no, that's not good. I don't like how you're being that way, or I don't believe that way. Being divisive is not a good thing. So when you are not in your own power, when you're not doing that which the universe really brought you here to do, when you're not living a good rhythm that is you and running your own rhythm, then you do negative things. And then you draw negative energy towards you. And there are people in this world that karmically, if all of us karmically will suffer the effects of our own karma. So if you're a negative person running or playing a negative rhythm, you will start to experience negative things come back to you, right? Because you're putting negative energy out there. So when you put negative energy out there, negative energy pushes back on you. If you're putting positive energy out there, positive energy will start pushing at you. So 2 cards that came up, the Swan Queen and the Word Lord. The Word Lord says communication, praise, and dishonesty. What did I just say? And the Swan Queen is transformation, intuition, and patience. So let's see what it has to say. See, number 13 says, the Swan Queen glides your way and asks that you look at your reflection in the events of your life. She gives you the ability to see the beauty that has transformed your life from ignorance to wisdom. The Swan Queen lets you know that it is time to go within and seek the answers of your own intuition. Don't look outside yourself for answers now. The true power lies reflected in its still waters within you. Now is the moment to meditate and ask for a vision. The power of psychic perception is inherent in you, and the Swan Queen will help you dive deep into your query to find the answers you seek. This is also a reminder to allow time to transform ideas into reality. Nothing happens overnight. And that is true. We are all creators of our own reality, and nothing does happen overnight. A lot of people are like, I wish it, I want it now. And it's that instant gratification in our society that causes us to be very disappointed with life because we have this idea that everything should be at our fingertips. Well, things are at our fingertips, but it doesn't always we can't just reach out and grab it right away. Sometimes we have to exercise patience. Sometimes we have to grow into a certain level of who we are. We have to find a certain rhythm and move to a certain groove before we can move towards that which we need or want to grab or draw towards us. And it takes time for the universe to manifest your dreams. I have a vision of I want to open a retreat, a place where people can come and meditate and be one with nature and just love being in a space that is free of hate and anger and all the negative things in life, and just be one with nature. And I love nature, and I want a place where people can come to transform themselves and find their own inner peace and find their own rhythm, and maybe where I can share my tools from my positivity toolkit with them. And I'm manifesting that, and I'm doing that by working towards my things, and then eventually the universe will help me bring that into fruition, and that takes time to transform. So it's super important for us to not only have a positive attitude, but follow our intuition, but exercise patience, have faith in ourselves, and find the rhythm in our own selves and be our true selves, so that we can be ready for the things that we are manifesting. Because I believe his name is Sadhguru, and he is a Indian sage, and he says that sometimes giving a wish to somebody is actually worse than letting it happen in its natural time. Because sometimes when you get your wish too soon, you aren't ready to handle it. You aren't ready to take on what it is that you were supposed to take on at that time. And you don't have all the tools in your toolkit to handle that kind of responsibility. So with great power comes great responsibility, right? And then the last one is the word Lord. Number 43, let's see, which adds to 7, by the way, 43. 1 and 3, 13 adds to 4. 4 is the number of foundation, which, by the way, 2020 is a 4-year. It is a rebuilding of foundation year. And in an odd way, humanity is being rebuilt at a foundational level. But you got to tear all the crap down first before you can build. That's right. You can't build on ruins. You have to build on a new solid foundation. So the word Lord is communication, praise, and dishonesty. And this is number 43. You see that number right there at the top? Let me see, I'll show it to you. Right there, 43. So 43 adds to 7. 7 is God's number. And yes, the universe speaks to us in numbers. People want these like amazing miracles, and they want to see an actual angel of light coming down to save them. Sorry to disappoint, but that's not how it's always going to go. Maybe some people have been really lucky to see that, but most of the time your guides and your angels and the universe sends you messages through vibrations and through numbers and through other signs. We're just not listening. Sometimes it's through songs, right? Rhythm. All right, it says ally. The word Lord rules communication of all kinds and lets you know the positive interactions can be expected when he arrives as your ally. He only speaks with positive words and praises all he sees. He reminds you of the laws of abundance and praise. When you bless the world, it blesses you back. When you say affirming, supportive words, they carry an energy that returns to you in physical form. Remember that each one of us has power and will resonate into the universe, seeking its reflection in manifest form. Your body responds to praise, as does everything in the world around you. Praise it for its inherent health and beauty. Applaud yourself for everything you do, as even the tiniest accomplishments are important. Praise your bills. Give thanks for the services you enjoy, and watch the ability to pay them increase as you align with Spirit's increasing power. This is also a time to remember the powerful practice of affirmations. Write them down and speak them aloud as a spiritual exercise. Say it is so, and it will be. It is a very auspicious sign when the word Lord chooses to be your ally. What we speak out actually does matter. That's why it is super important to let go of anger and not internalize it. Because when you let go of your anger, you're letting it go. You're putting it out there in the universe. You're saying, I'm done with this. I cannot handle it. I can't take it on anymore. And I need help. Right. But then you also need to speak positive words. You also have to look at yourself in a positive light. Maybe the more positive we say, and the more positive things we look at, like, for example, you know, it is going to be a challenge taking care of my dad. That's the reality of it. And I think I've mentioned this before. My dad is not a very nice person to me growing up. He was a very abusive person, verbally and otherwise. And as I was sitting there thinking about this, maybe the reason my dad is coming back towards me and my other sister to take care of him is because we have unfinished business. Because I needed an opportunity to forgive him. So sometimes we don't want things to happen, but they must, because they're for our highest growth and our highest good. So remember that abundance comes when we start to accept who we are and love who we are. Transform yourself. Listen to your intuition. Have patience, because it takes time to transform yourself. You're not going to be, none of us are going to be perfect. Even at the moment that we exit this world, we are not going to be perfect. But as long as we are working towards being that rhythm that we are, and that is us, that is what's perfect. You know, there are teachings and teachers. 11, a master number of the universe. Sometimes we have to internalize and hibernate and retreat and look within that mirror of ourselves, you know? And ultimately, we will find the purity like fresh fallen snow after a long winter. Right? And we see the clarity and the freshness. I hope that this oracle reading today and affirmations helps you. I know it always helps me, because I feel like it's not only for you that I get to pull these cards, it's also for me. It's a message that the universe is sharing with me to share with you out there of what's going on, and maybe what we need to do as individuals. If we are all working our own personal rhythm and moving to the flow of our own personal soul, we're not so worried about what everybody else is doing, because we're on our own path. So I hope as you go throughout your day and through this weekend that you think about what I shared with you today, and maybe there's something that you need to work on for you. Start focusing on you and I promise you that abundance will be yours. Your dreams will come true, and you will be transformed into the being that you are meant to be. I am so grateful that you join me for my videos. Please like and subscribe so that others know of the content that I have here. And I am super grateful for you. Thank you so much, and namaste.